Hey, and we are live.
Yes.
Leesh, when I first met you, we were working in the same workplace, and I was just so incredibly taken aback by the level of kindness and generosity that was emanating from you, the way that you supported colleagues, not through purely professional challenges, but personal ones, and holding space for them with such compassion. I was like, oh my God, like this woman must have done such an immense amount of work on herself to get to this level of loving peace and compassion. And so it's such a it's a privilege to know you, Leesh, and to see not only how much work you've done on yourself to break generational curses
Mm.
and unlearn old programs, but also to share your gifts with the world to help so many women around the world with body image and confidence and self-love and all these beautiful things. Thank you so much for being here today, Leish.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I wasn't expecting that. That's very beautiful. Thank you. It's like I feel like I know that about myself, but for someone else to like say that's what they noticed, I was like, "Huh, that's beautiful." I love that people are seeing what I know about myself as well, and it's lovely to hear that. So thank you.
Of course, Leish. And in that vein, around self love. That's certainly a big theme of this podcast. And actually, in this next episode, I'll be talking a little bit more about my journey. And I feel like we can't talk about self love without talking about the opposite of self love, which might look like self betrayal or self abandonment.
Mm.
And as excited as I am to dive into your work and how you have helped others with your gifts, can you take us perhaps back to the first time in your life where you noticed that you were betraying or abandoning yourself and how you came out of that?
This is a good question. Damn, you're just like straight in there.
Hey.
Let's go straight in. There's a few moments, I think, in my life looking back. There's two that show up, like, that are coming to me right now. And the first one was when I got fired from my dream job as an international flight attendant. So just for a little bit of context, growing up, this was my dream, was to become a flight attendant. And coming from where I came from, I grew up in government housing, food grants, that kind of thing. This was a big, audacious goal. It was like, damn, like she really wants to be a flight attendant. Like, and it felt so like obviously I believed that I could do it, but it felt so like audacious, so big. And I became a flight attendant and, I was traveling the world. I felt like I had clocked life. Like I was like, yep, I've done it. I've done it. Life is good. I'm good. Right. And then I got fired. And getting fired was like the feeling, it was like I had my whole identity caught up in being a flight attendant and I was so proud of it. And for that to be then taken away from me, it was like, well, who am I now? Like, there was so much shame. There was so much, like, I felt like a huge failure. And if I look into that moment of getting fired, there was a moment in there that I did betray myself because it's like, like the reason why I got fired on that night, I wasn't like, there were so many moments where my intuition was telling me, hey, don't go there. Hey, don't do that. Hey, that's not right. It was like, the alarms were set off, the red flags were flagging, right? But I was like, nope, can't see the red flag. Nope, not listening to my intuition, pushing it down. I'm going to go out anyway. I'm going to do all the things that I know my body is telling me not to do, but I did them anyway. And that led me to getting fired. So there was a part of the self-betrayal there where I wasn't listening to myself. I wasn't inside. I wasn't going through the internal process. But then on top of that, the moment where, because it's a blessing now, right? It was a really shitty time at the moment, at that time, I should say. But now I look back and I'm like, what a blessing. And the moment where, so I ran away, I moved to Melbourne. I felt like a failure. I ran away, moved to Melbourne, and I thought everything would get better. And it actually got worse. Like, I got caught up in drugs, drinking, that numbing out. Like, I was numbing out with drinking, drugs, alcohol, food, in toxic relationships, toxic friendships, in a toxic work environment, in a toxic household. Like, you name it, it was happening in my life. Toxic relationship with myself. And it was my rock bottom moment where I was crying myself. I was crying myself to sleep in fetal position. And I was like, what the fuck is the point in life? Like, I was just so angry at life. Like, this can't be it. Like, there was a point where I was angry at my parents too. I was like, why would you bring me into this fucking shithole? Like, this is so shit. And luckily, I allowed all the feelings to come out and cried and all the things. And then I got into that solution mode, which was like, okay, what now? Like, what can I do? And I really thought that if I lost weight, my life is going to be great. If I lose weight, I'm going to make so much money. I'm going to get my dream partner. I'm going to get my dream house, dream car, dream job. Everything's going to be great. So, as you do, I went online and I searched up how to lose weight fast. And all the things came up that I had seen years and years before, because this has been a problem since I was 6 years old, on this hamster wheel of trying to lose weight and thinking that it will change my freaking life. So all the things were coming up, the diets, the shakes, the lollipops, the fat burners, all these things. And the one thing that I saw that was different was a life coach, and she specialized in weight loss. And I was like, wow, this is different. So got into her work, listened to her podcasts, and her first podcast literally changed my life, because she taught, I love this work so much. Like, she taught how your thoughts create your feelings create your actions, and your actions create your results. So ultimately, your thoughts create your results, your reality in life. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what the? And I started looking at my life and being like, damn, like, so I created this. Like, this was from a thought that I had, was why my life is the way it is. And I went throughout my life thinking that everything was happening to me. Like, oh my gosh, I got fired. I can't believe, why would you do this to me? Why is the world so fucked up? But when I had that realization, it was like something switched in me that was like, I'm actually in control. Like, I can control this. If my thoughts are creating my reality, I can control this shit. So I went through my whole life, like, just looking through, and I've done this as going through the years of my life. Okay, what thought led me there? Why do I have that reality? What are the beliefs? Because your beliefs are just thoughts that you think over and over again, right? So yeah, just unpacking all of that, and literally changing my life. But yeah, about the self-sabotage, I'm like, did I even answer the question? The self-sabotage moment was definitely what led me to getting fired, as I sabotaged myself. I didn't listen to myself, but it's beautiful to know that, in that moment, in that rock bottom moment, I was really struggling, but that I like made it out, and it became something so beautiful.
That's awesome, Leesh. Yeah, that's beautiful. And I can totally relate, especially when, you tie your identity to a workplace or to a relationship or to money or body, and then without it, when it's not there, because everything's obviously always in flux and constantly changing, it feels like a part of you is dying. And it
Mm.
definitely sounded like that was what you went through when you were fired from that job. And such a breakthrough, having that realization that, yeah, thoughts actually have such a profound influence on everything around us. And I'm wondering then, in light of what you went through, being fired, going through various addictions and toxic environments and relationships, beneath all of that, like what would you say was that core thought or belief that created that phase or period of your life?
It was definitely that I wasn't enough. Like, I wasn't good enough. All the enoughs. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't skinny enough. I wasn't enough. I wasn't wide enough was another one. Like, there was just like, I'm not enough. So this is the reason why I need to work really hard so people can see me as smart. I need to create a business so people can see me as smart, right? I need to lose all this weight so people can see me as skinny enough. I need to change the way I look and wear the makeup and get my hair done and nails so people can see that I'm pretty enough. And, the hustle, the hustle, the hustle, so people can see that I have enough money. Like, it was just like all of these things. I was just trying to be enough. And the biggest realization that I had in my life that was that, like, you are enough just as you are. Like, you actually, when you were born, you are enough. Like, whatever you believe in, the universe, God, like, they made no mistakes when you were born, right? That was how you were supposed to be born into this world. And unfortunately, we get programmed and conditioned from society that you need this job, you need this amount of money, you need this flash car, you need to be married, you need to have kids, you need to have this Coca-Cola body, to be enough. And the reason why they sell you that is because it helps them, right? A lot when I share about fat phobia, like, it all comes behind, these are businesses trying to make money off of you. So they sell you that you need to take this pill to lose weight, to look this way, because it profits them. A lot of the things that we are taught, it profits everyone else. And what a beautiful question to ask yourself, like, who does this thought profit? Like, who does this thought help? Because it's not helping you. So who is it helping? Oh, it's helping the big pharmaceuticals. It's helping these big businesses. It's helping everyone else but yourself. And you should always come back to yourself and help yourself and put yourself first. But yeah, the not enough, like, that shows up a lot in life. And with the women that I work with as well, it's always, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. And it's like, compared to what? What are you comparing it to? What have you been taught? What have you been told that you need to be enough compared to what? And really unpacking that.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, Leesh, because that's pretty much what inspired the whole concept for this podcast, is helping people liberate from these lies and
Mm,
unproductive programs and beliefs that you're somehow not enough. And I think,
mm,
like, hearing that when someone is in that state of not enoughness, and certainly when I was, and am still trying to figure it out as I go along in different areas of my life. If someone said, "Oh, but you're enough just as you are,"
mm,
it's like, okay, that sounds great on maybe like a bumper sticker or like a Hallmark card, but I still could be bigger or slimmer or
mm.
richer or whatever. And it's like, it can be, for some, it can be difficult to believe. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, what happened in your life, or what was like a breakthrough moment, or maybe like a series of moments or realizations that helped you really grok and understand, holy shit, like, I actually am enough as I am, and I don't need to continue trying to lose weight or try and fill the void with all these external things and validation.
Yeah, there's so many things, but I think the first thing is to just stop. Like, stop running. Stop, like, running away, numbing out from all these things, because we do. We numb out with alcohol, with smoking, with drugs, with working too much, with being around so many family and people pleasing. It's numbing out. We're running away from ourselves. So it's like, just stop, just sit with self, because we are so freaking smart. And when you tune in with self, you're going to get the answer. Ask yourself, like, what do I need right now? Like, what is it that I need? What is going to help me stop running? What is going to help me be enough? Because your body will tell you, and it's just tuning into that. But I think stopping is the first thing. Like, stop doing whatever you're doing to avoid. And then from there, ask yourself the question. And for me, I had to, so I always go to the thought, and we talk about Byron Katie. That was one thing, I think, our first conversation. And I talked about Byron Katie and how much I love her. And you're like, yeah, I know Byron Katie. And I was like, you're the first person, like, outside of the coaching world that I talked to. You were the first person that, like, was like, yeah, I know her. And I was like, what the hell? You know the work of Byron Katie? Like, what? We have to be friends. But yeah, she has the 4 questions, and it's just like, write that thought down and question it. Like, is it true? Is the thought true? Because yeah, when I did that, I would just look at it, and most times I'd be like, "No, this is not true. Like, this is not true." But your mind plays tricks on you. It tells you it's trying to keep you safe, right? And usually there's no safety in being uncomfortable. It's kind of trying to keep you comfortable. So it will feed you all these lies. So yeah, just writing down the thoughts and asking it, is it true? And unlearning it, I feel like a lot of my work is unlearning all the insecurities that I was told. So yeah, questioning it, unlearning it, choosing, do I want to believe this or do I not want to believe this? Do I want to believe that I'm not skinny enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not when you say it like that, it actually sounds ridiculous. But it's giving yourself grace to be like, well, it makes sense why I think this way because the world has told me. Maybe it's people you look up to in life have told you these things. Your parents, your caregivers, people that you love have unconsciously like passed this stuff down to you because they weren't conscious enough, they weren't aware enough to do the work for themselves, so they've passed this down to you. So it's then your time, your place, your calling to be like, it's going to stop at me and I'm not going to pass this down. So unlearning the not enoughness, getting into like why you think that way as well. I'm very much a why person. I always need to know why. Like, why did this happen though? Where does it come from? Why do I think this way? So learning about all of that, and then it's a choice. Like, you choose to decide, do I still want to believe this thought? Actually, no, I don't want to believe this thought, because when I don't believe this thought, then I can become a person who's not like running all the time and not on this hamster wheel of dieting, of, punishing myself in the gym, looking in the mirror and hating myself, talking poorly about myself all the time. I don't want that life. This is what I want. And it is easier said than done. It's this practice, right? So you make this choice, but it's actually, you have to choose it every day. You have to choose it every second sometimes, that actually, no, I'm not going to believe that I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough money, whatever your thing is. I'm choosing this instead. And it's that rewiring of the brain. It's like, okay, I'm going to keep literally teaching yourself, brainwashing yourself to believe this other thought. And you do that so often that it becomes your life, that it becomes like, now to me, when I think about dieting and hamster wheels, and like, that's so far removed from my life now. But for 22 years of my life, that was my life. And don't get me wrong, there are moments where it may seep back through. But it's being so aware of like, actually, I'm not choosing that. I don't want to choose that thought. And why don't I want to choose it? Because the life that gave me wasn't a life that I loved. And the life that I do love is this life of being confident in myself, love my body no matter what it looks like, knowing that I'm more than what I look like.
That's amazing. Yeah, and super powerful. I love the part about brainwashing yourself, because it is a bit like that
Yeah.
when we have been conditioned in a culture and with parents and society and media, which is a form of brainwashing or a form
Mm,
of conditioning. And we were speaking about this beforehand, is learning how to have discernment, I guess. Like, what is
yeah.
actually serving me? What's the hidden agenda here? If it's not helping
Mm,
me, who is it helping? Is this something that I want to tune into or not?
yeah.
And I think, yeah, something that you touched on, what I really want to double click on, to help someone break free from that cycle of dieting or overworking or drugging, drinking, shopping, gambling, whatever it is. And there's no judgment here, because,
Mm,
both of us have, I mean, I've certainly sampled all of the vices. And you said the first step is to stop and then tune into your body, right? Which
mm,
is so important. I do believe, like, your body is the most intelligent biofeedback machine that there is. You can have all the whoops and the Apple Watches, but like, your body knows best. And I found it incredibly difficult to stop that cycle, especially when I was
mm.
in the thick of it and really just running around asleep and blind to my own self-created suffering. So my question is, like, what would you tell someone who's afraid of stopping?
That's such a good question. I would tell them, like, what's going to happen if you don't? Like, if you keep going the way that you were going, what is your life going to look like? Right? Because if you don't stop, you're most likely not going to get the life that you want, right? So you need to stop in order to get yourself on this path, on the right path for your life. So a lot of the times with women, when we talk about self-love and confidence, and you can relate this to your high achievers, it's like, if you don't do this work, if you don't stop, what will your life look like? If you don't do this work for confidence, for self-love, what is your life going to look like? It's either you're going to be burnt out, you're going to go down the incorrect path. I don't know, it's going to be a lot of hurdles, it's going to be a lot of hard work, grit, burnout, all these things. With my women with confidence is the self-hate, the bad language, like talking shit to yourself. You're going to pass that down to future generations, your kids and their kids, and so on and so on. So like, what is going to happen if you don't stop? And thinking about that. And as much as it hurts to stop, because it's not easy to stop. And sometimes even to this day, like, the work is, you're always doing the work, right? And sometimes there are moments where I know that I need to stop, but I'm like, no, it's just too uncomfortable. I don't want to stop. But even just being aware that actually I'm not choosing to stop right now. I'm choosing to go down this path, right? That's going to change something in you, like, as well. Just having that awareness of like, right now I'm not choosing that, but I know that I should be doing that. And that's okay, because I don't want to feel uncomfortable right now. So really looking at, like, if you don't stop, if you don't tune into yourself, if you don't do this work, what will your life look like? And do you want that life? Because you can keep going continuously the next 10 years doing what you're doing. That usually isn't helping you. You're either going to stay in the same place, or you're going to be burnt out. You're going to have health issues. You're going to have mental health issues. There's so many issues that will come up. Or you can stop right now and feel a little bit of discomfort. You don't have to go full in, just a little bit. Like I say to the woman, I'm like, the fact that you're even aware, like, perfect. Like, if you just sit there, if you know that you're on the verge of burnout, but you're aware that you're on the verge of burnout, that's like the next step. Okay, cool. And then you'll go to the next step. Okay, maybe I'll just stop for 5 minutes and I'll see what that first thought is. And then when it gets uncomfortable, then I'll numb out. But I'm aware, I know what the thought is. And then the next time it's like, I'm aware, I know what the thought is, I have a plan. I'm aware, I know what the thought is, I have a plan, I'm going to take action. And it might be a little action, and then it'll be a big action, and so on and so on. But it's like this, and who is it? James Clear, Atomic Habits, he says, 1% better every day. Just do the 1%. Like, we're not asking you to change your whole freaking life. Like, if I was trying to sit here and be like, I'm going to change 32 years of my life in one day, like, it took me 32 years to get here, right? It's just 1%. Just one little second, 5 minutes. Like, it'll change, like, that'll change your life.
Yeah, beautiful. I think that's really powerful, especially that frame. What will my life look like in 5, 10, 20 years if I
Yeah.
continue like this? I think it can be a really confronting question to sit with and ask oneself. I kind of liken it to, you've got goal setting and then you've got fear setting. So what am I afraid will happen
Mhm.
if I continue going down this path? I mean, depending on the type of person that you are, if you're trying to seek pleasure or avoid pain, if you're leaning more towards the latter, then that's something that might really resonate with and compel you into action. So that's so cool.
That,
Thank you
yeah.
for sharing. There's been a common thread that I'm picking up on, and both of us have talked about it as well, is just around not passing on these programs of scarcity or insecurity or inadequacy to the next generation, and acknowledging the cards that we've been dealt and learning how to play them in a way so that we're not creating more harm for ourselves and for those
Mm.
around us, and future children and all that. And I really resonate with that because that's been part of my journey. So can you perhaps take us back even further before the firing from the flight attendant job? Because you talked about your own journey growing up in like commission housing as well, and sort of being exposed to those conditions from an early age, which created this feeling of not enoughness, which you then broke free from. Can you
Mm.
perhaps speak more to that, and how that inspired you to want to transcend that, and want to do better for yourself and for your loved ones and your clients as well?
Yeah, absolutely. When I started doing the work, I went back through all the years of my life. Okay. When was the first moment that had this thought? And the thought was that my body wasn't like other kids' bodies. So 6 years old, I'm on the playground, I'm looking at my body, looking at other kids' bodies, and I'm like, wow, my body is different. Right. And you see it in cartoons, how much fat phobia there are in cartoons, even to this day. You hear it on the radio. Back then, magazines were huge. So you see it on magazines front page, how this celebrity lost 10 kgs in 30 days, or bagging her and saying, wow, look at her, she's let herself go. It's like, what the? So at 6 years old, realizing all these things, but not having a safe space to go and talk to someone about it. So my parents, I felt like I was neglected and abandoned as a child, and they were going through their own things in life, and love them, no disrespect to them, right? That we always do the best that we can with what we know at the time. So I didn't have a safe space to go and talk to someone about it. And as a child, we're very like self-centered in the best way. Like we think everything is because of us. My parents are fighting. Oh, it's because of me. My parents are breaking up because of me. Like anything that's happening in the world is because of me. And I mean, going through life, not really feeling safe, feeling seen, feeling heard. I was looking for outside validation a lot from teachers, from principals, from other parents, from kids in the class trying to fit in. And that was just like throughout my whole life. And then at age 11 was when I started my first diet, the lemon detox diet. And that was that's what set me up for this hamster wheel of like wanting to lose weight, punishing myself in the gym, trying every diet I could get my hands on, hating what I looked like in the mirror. And, that was all the way till I was like 28 years old. So all of those things, and I think specifically this feeling seen and heard was like the thing that I was like, and it's so funny looking back because when I first started coaching, this was the feedback I was getting. Oh my gosh, you make me feel so seen. Oh my gosh, this is the first time I've felt heard. And I'm like, "Oh," like I'm like crying, not on the call, but afterwards, I'm like, ah, because I'm like, that's all I ever wanted. So the fact that I was able to heal my shit and then be able to give this gift to other women, how fucking beautiful, right? And then it was the same. So then I was like looking at my siblings and like asking them, you know, all these things that you do, coaching questions, and realizing, oh, they just want to be seen. They just want to be heard as well because their parents didn't see and hear them. And a lot of times we are looking for the validation of parents or of role models, people that we look up to, our caregivers, to say, I love you, I'm proud of you, you're doing amazing, to actually listen to you, to like they know about you, they think about you, they actually care about you, and they show that they care about you. A lot of times this is what we're seeking, right? So then when I was realizing, oh my gosh, my siblings want that too, these women, like this is, we all just want to be seen and heard. Yeah, so then I was like, I need to be able to pass that down to next generations. But the most beautiful thing was that I needed to see and hear myself. Like I actually need to sit with myself, and I literally had to go back to 6-year-old Leesh, like in my mind's eye, do a beautiful meditation, and it's like, what do you need? Like, what do you need, baby? Like, I'll give it to you. And she just wanted to be told that everything is going to be all right. So it was like me as my 32-year-old self sitting with 6-year-old self, putting my hand around her. Everything's going to be all right. Like you're actually going to be okay. You're not going to be abandoned. You're not going to be neglected. I'm here for you. You actually turn out to be a fabulous woman, and seeing her and giving her so much love. And then her being like, okay, you go on with your bad self. Like, like, okay, go help all the women that you want to help, then go get on with it. And then me coming out of that, right? So a lot of things that actually everything that we want from everyone else, it's like we actually need to give that to ourselves.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Leash. That's so, so powerful. And yeah, the inner child stuff I think is something that more and more people can benefit from, at least building a relationship with their younger selves. Because the way I look at it, like all versions of you are within you, and they do want to be seen and acknowledged. And there are
Mhm.
those like pivotal moments in life where perhaps we didn't get that from our caretakers, and then creates a wound which is waiting to be
Mm,
healed, and then we just start acting from that wound or trauma as
yep.
opposed to our truth and who we really are. So, like, what would you say is a easy step or practical action that someone could take? Imagine if, you were speaking to one of your clients who had experienced something similar and a lack of feeling seen and heard. How can someone listening see and hear themselves?
This is a good question. I think for me, it's been journaling. And I know it's not for everyone, but if you can just sit with yourself and you may even want to just vocally say it to yourself, the thoughts that you are having, like, or what you are struggling with. If you can just say it out loud, or if you can just write it down, like that takes some power away from it. Cause sometimes it feels like, I don't know, for me to say like, "Oh, I didn't feel seen and heard," like, there was a bit of shame, there was a bit of resentment, there was a bit of anger towards my parents, like, "Oh, you didn't see and hear me? Like, you didn't look after me? You were supposed to be there for me, like, where were you?" kind of thing. So even just saying out, like, what is it that you need? So getting clear on what it is that you need and writing it down or saying it out, and that takes a bit of the power. There might be emotion in there as well. I remember the first time where I just sobbed. Like, I was just like, I just want to be seen. I just want to be heard. I just want to be loved. Like, and to say that out, like, and then there was all emotion that came out with it, and just allowing that emotion to come, like trusting yourself with those emotions, writing it down, saying it out. Maybe you want to share it with someone if you have someone you can trust. Just be like, hey, I'm really struggling with this, and this is what it is. This is why we are here, why we have coaches and people doing this work is to help you. Because I say to my women, like, my job is kind of to believe in you before you believe in yourself, right? Because there are moments where you come into these spaces and you say things like, I'm broken, I need to be fixed, I need to be healed, I have so much trauma, I don't know how like, it feels like so much. And those things, like, aren't true. You're not broken, you don't need to be fixed, you don't need to be healed, you don't need all of those. You don't need that. That's not true. It's just coming home to self. So it may not feel safe to sit with yourself right now because you don't, like, there's this, you're scared of what may happen. You may not be able to control. Some people feel like when they start crying, they can't stop, and then it leads to depression and all these things. So this is the reason why mental health practitioners and stuff are around. So you may even want to just say it to someone else. If you can't sit with yourself, tell someone else how you feel. Someone who's doing this work, people like us, coaches, and they can help you with it as well. But yeah, just naming what it is that you want, like, what do you need? What do you want? What is the thing? And getting really clear on that.
For sure. Yeah, I think it isn't easy, but it is simple when you put it like that. It's
Yeah.
like there are certain things that we want or that we feel like we need in the moment, but they're not being acknowledged. Maybe it's
Mm,
because we haven't practiced enough, like sitting with ourselves and sort of tuning in and asking, what do I need in this moment? But actually labeling it and calling it out, like, yeah,
mm,
I need to feel like I matter, or that I'm loved, or that I'm seen, or that I'm enough. And so, how can I offer that to myself in this
mm.
moment? It's super powerful.
Yeah.
So that I appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you.
What like why do you feel it's helpful to have coaches or a coach in your corner? And perhaps even like talk to your own journey around that coach that you first started working with,
Mm,
and even now, with the roles being reversed and you being on the other side of that.
yeah. So going back to this, like, I believe in my clients before they can believe in themselves, right? Because a lot of times, and it's actually kind of sad to say that the only reason I got a coach was because there was no other option, right? I was at my breaking point. And it was like, well, I either get some help or I stay here. And a lot of people don't move in life until something really bad happens. There's death, there's disease, there's divorce, there's whatever it is, you get fired until you do something. And it's like, do something now. If your life feels cushy right now and you want more, do it now. Don't wait for those rock bottom moments, right? So yeah, being at that rock bottom moment, I needed somebody to believe in me before I could believe in myself, because I didn't believe in myself. When my coach was telling me, yeah, you can be confident in yourself. You can love your body. You don't need to change your body. You can make as much money as you want. You can speak in front of, big groups of people. You can say no. You don't have to people please. You can be like all these things. I was like, there's no way. But I loved watching her do it, and I thought that it was for her. And I saw some people around me that were like in the coaching group. I was like, oh, they're actually making changes. And then it was like she would speak life into me. She would tell me like, no, you can have this. And then I would go to her with my problems and she would help me turn them around or unpack them. And then I was like, damn, like actually I am pretty cool. Actually, I am really smart. Actually, I am quite like hot and sexy and whatever it is. Like, she believed in me before I believed in myself. And then she slowly gave me the tools to believe in myself and then go on with life. And I think that's why this is important. This work is important, because we literally help people live the life of their dreams, really, like overcome these things that are stopping them from getting the things that they really want in life. And yeah, we just literally help them along. So this work is so important, and I will always give props. My first coach was Erica Kramer, the Queen of Confidence, and I always give props to her because I saw a lot of me in her. She was really raw and real and not like I feel like the words like professional, and she was a person of color, like all these things I could really relate to her. And I always think like if it wasn't for her or me seeing and finding her, because the original coach I had, the weight loss coach, she was in America. She was like this white lady from America, that I couldn't really relate to. And she didn't really have, I felt like the problems that I had. So yeah, finding Erica, and I just always think, and this is what keeps me going as well as a coach, is like you need to show up because there's someone out there that needs to see you, because they think that things aren't possible for them because they don't see someone who looks like them doing it. So it's like you actually, and especially with coaching, like there's a lot of coaches out there, but like you being you makes that difference, right? People need like you, specifically you, because they can relate to you. They, I don't know, love the rawness, the realness, whatever it is, whatever the flavor that you bring. So yeah, coaching is so important, and I still have coaches to this day. I'll probably always have a coach, and just always be leveling up and trying to be a better person.
That's awesome. I'm your devotion to self improvement, not from a perspective of you being a project, but you
Mm,
being someone who's constantly seeking to express more love and more kindness and more compassion for yourself and for those around you. It's super infectious. I love it.
mm, thank you.
Something you said before is super, super powerful, and I want to double click on it. You're like encouraging people not to wait until hitting rock bottom
Mm,
to invest in themselves, whether it's a coach or psychologist or whomever you trust to walk alongside you and to support you out of possibly patterns that we've been talking about around self-betrayal or self-abandonment. I know I waited not just for one rock bottom, but multiple rock bottoms to change. I like to think of it, life whispers through a few things, going slightly wrong, and then it starts shouting a bit louder, and then it starts like roaring at you
mm-hmm.
through something really catastrophic. Why though do you think so many people wait until they hit rock bottom to change? Why not take your advice, for instance, and if they're feeling comfortable where they're at, get some support to ensure that they don't hit rock bottom, or to, use it as a launch pad into a
Mm.
greater level of growth and expansion.
Yeah, it's the comfortableness. Like people just want to be comfortable, right? And then when they're taken out of feeling comfortable, it feels unsafe. So your body, your brain is trying to keep you safe. So it's like go back to being comfortable because it feels unsafe. So a lot of people like imagine you're right now, you're maybe at a job that you're like, oh, it's okay. It's making me a relatively great amount of money. I have a nice house, there's food in the cupboard, I'm with a partner that's okay. Like, could be better, but it's okay. And I could be better, but it's okay, and they just live there like that's just comfortable. And I think a lot of people are like, would rather stay comfortable than to feel uncomfortable and put themselves out there and step out and take action and do things that make them feel scared and nervous and anxious. And, sometimes it's a type of person, but there's something that always drives you. Like for me, when people always ask me, like, oh, how could you be so confident and show up and speak in front of so many people and put yourself online to a lot of criticism and all these things? Like, why do you do that? And it's because I'm driven by the fact that I want to help as many women as I can with self love and confidence. So that's what drives me. So, same for the people that are just sitting in the comfortable thing. If they don't have a driver, they're not going to move. Like, they need to have something that's driving them, right? So, a lot of people that I see that do hustle and burn themselves out and all the things they're trying to do it for their kids. So they want to, set themselves up so that when their kids, time to, I don't know, go to university or whatever it is, they have the money for that. They have all the things. Or they're trying to prove themselves to someone, right? They want their parents to tell them that they're proud of them, or they want society to be like, yep, like you're amazing, you clocked it, you ticked all the boxes, kind of thing. Or maybe they're trying to impress a girl or a boy or something like that. So that's what's driving them to move. So I think it's, yeah, when people feel comfortable, they don't move. But even when you're in rock bottom, there's a lot of uncomfortable feelings there. And even so, some people hit rock bottom and they stay there. And sometimes they go further down. They go down this wrong path. So that's another reason why coaches and people like us is so important because, it's a simple scroll online. Like sometimes people will just be scrolling and they come across you being like, hey, your thoughts create your reality. And then they're like, what? My thoughts create my reality. And then they change their lives, right? So yeah, the reason why people don't move, and I actually talked to someone recently, I was telling them about my story and they were like, but why do you do that? Because I was saying like, oh, I've got so many things on but I love it, right? Like, and I know like I tune in with myself. Can I do this or am I burning myself out? If my body shows signs of sickness, I'm like, oh, okay, that means my body is telling me I need to slow down, so tuning into all of those things. But they were like, but why do you do this? Like sometimes, because some of these things do stress me out. When you put yourself in situations of talking in front of a bunch of people, you get stressed out. Or for me, reaching out to big brands for sponsorships and stuff like that, there's uncomfortable feelings and they're like, why do you do it to yourself? And I'm like, well, why don't you want to do? And they're like, my life's pretty okay. And I'm like, well, if you're happy, like, are you happy? And they're like, yeah, I'm happy. And I'm like, no, like, actually, like, tune in with yourself. Are you happy? And you see them pause for a second and they're like, I haven't actually really thought of it. Sitting with yourself and just saying, hey, am I happy? Because some people don't do that. And they even said to me, they were like, you know what? I'm actually going to go home and actually sit with this because some feelings have come up. And I was like, hey, good. If you need any help, reach out to me. But that's what it is as well. Like sometimes it's that scariness of like asking yourself, like, are you happy? And some people avoid that and they just say, comfortable and they don't do anything about it because it's all right. Like there's nothing that bad, happening. But if you really tune in with yourself and ask yourself, are you happy? Sometimes it tells you like, actually, I'm not happy and I'm just putting on a facade and I'm just settling. Like a lot of people were settling in life and it's so sad to see. And I was settling for a very long time as well. And you don't know what you don't know. And some women come to me and they're like, oh my gosh, they beat themselves up for settling. But I'm like, no, like give yourself grace, like give yourself forgive yourself. Like, you didn't know what you didn't know, but now you know better. Now it's on you to do better. And if you don't choose to do better, then that's also a choice. Like, you're choosing the life that you're living. Like, you're consciously choosing that.
Oh, I'm picking up what you're
Yeah.
putting down. Yeah, it's like radical accountability,
Mhm.
radical honesty, which can be really, really uncomfortable to do.
Mm,
But I mean, your life pretty much depends on it, or at least the quality of your life
yeah.
depends on it. So take us perhaps on a journey. Let's say one of those clients who do come to you and they are settling, and you help them consciously choose a better version of themselves, or consciously choose a better reality, one where they are feeling more confident, or more loving towards themselves and their body.
Mm.
What's the process that you take them through?
I feel like it's not like a one size fits all, and it depends on the client and how much work they've done and how aware they are in their lives already. But it's this awareness piece. So becoming aware and then choosing, like, what are you choosing? What's the life that you actually want to choose? So sometimes in this awareness piece, when you become aware that maybe you're doing something that is not helping you, you beat yourself up about it. You judge yourself. You're like, why? I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I chose that. Oh my gosh, I've wasted so much of my life. Oh my gosh, I can't believe, and there's this so much like judgment. And it's like, choosing not to judge yourself in those moments and just be aware with no judgment. Like, just be like, oh, okay, that's what I was doing. It's like as if you're removing yourself from the person and just watching the person and be like, wow, that's me. That's what I used to do. That's who I used to be, right? And becoming aware of that, and then being like, okay, what do I want to do now? What's the life that I want now? And I always take these women through a beautiful visualization of like, what do you want your life to look like? Like, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What are all the things? And take off all the be realistic. It's like, nah, fuck that. Like, you can have the life of your dreams. Like, let's step into abundance. Let's step into the magic and the miracles. And, taking women through this process. And sometimes a lot of them are like, yeah, but I don't know if I can. Like, I don't know if I can do that. And I'm like, nope. Like, we're not doing that. Let's just step into this abundance. Like, go crazy. Like, anything that feels crazy, feels like, no, that's impossible, all the things, let's just put it out there. Let's put it out into the universe and let's just say it and let's just visualize it. Like, you don't have to do anything. You just have to visualize it. And sometimes we don't even let ourselves visualize ourselves as this higher version of ourselves. We're so powerful. Like, we can literally visualize something and our body like goes through all the emotions of that thing. And it's like, it already is. Like, it's already a thing, right? And it's like, you're just catching up to it. You're just getting to that timeline, right? You're just gonna meet with it. So when I take women through that process, like already when they come out of it, I'm like, how do you feel? They're like, damn, I feel good. I feel ignited. I feel confident. You even see the way that they show up as like, they're like, I'm that girl. And then the language they're using as well. And sometimes they cry because they're just like, wow, like that's the first time I've seen myself in that light. And I'm like, that's you, that you were already her. Right. And then it's like identifying as that version, as the highest version of yourself, So I say to the woman, I'm like, you're already her, just show up like her. And sometimes that's scary and sometimes you don't feel comfortable to do that. But it's kind of like you're an actor, like you're just acting in life. Like, life is a big movie and you're showing up in this actor role. Yeah, and I tell the woman, like, one woman, she was going to an event and she's like, I really want to be confident. And I'm like, you already are. Like, and I'm like, put on clothes that your confident self, your highest version of yourself would put on, the music that you're prepping, that you're putting on before. What makes you feel comfortable? Some women like a lot of makeup, whatever it is, do all of that. And then you literally have to program yourself before stepping in. Like, I'm going to be this highest version of myself. This is who it is. And you might just go in and be that person for that event, or however long it is, 1 hour. And then you come out and you revert back to who it is that you think that you are. And then you put the mask back on and all the things and you go out again. And then like, you'll do that for a few times and then you'll have to stop. You're not acting anymore because it's just become who you are. So yeah, a lot of the times that's what I help women with, is just like looking at like the abundance in life, because we're so programmed to the scarcity. So it's even changing the language to abundance language, changing, yeah, the thoughts, all of that to abundance. And there's this really beautiful, actually, I think I got it from Dr. Espen. He shows the frequencies of abundance and scarcity. And when people see it, depends what type of learner you are, but a lot of people are visual. So when they see it visually, they're like, "Oh no, I want to be in this abundance, not in the scarcity." So yeah, that's one of the practice. That's probably the main practice that I really help women with, and it's this rewiring of the brain. So changing the thought into a positive thought, whatever the negative thought is, changing it into a positive. Obviously you need to get to the root of the thought first. You can't just be like, I hate my body, I love my body. Like you need to do a little bit of the root work to get to that point. And sometimes that's where affirmations, like I love affirmations, but doing the root work for that affirmation first before you're just trying to, like, I don't know, it's like, you know how they say, like, you can't put red lipstick on a pig or something? That's what, kinda like that is the vibe that it gives. You're just trying to, like, make it look good and sound good where you haven't actually got to the root cause.
Yeah, because if you don't believe it, it's
Yeah.
like it's not gonna stick, right?
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love the whole piece about we are all actors in a movie, and you do get to
Mm,
choose the script for your life consciously, and when you do start acting like it, then and thinking and feeling
mm,
like that person, things start to move and shift. You have to be patient, you gotta be loyal to the process, and it certainly
yes.
takes time, but
Mm,
it's yeah, it's really, really powerful, so I'm glad that you brought that up.
yeah.
And for those listening, the range of emotions that Leesh was talking about is from Dr. David
Mm,
Hawkins, who is a really well-renowned psychiatrist and was able to map out most, if not all, human emotions on this scale and notice that each emotion calibrates at a specific frequency, with fear and scarcity and guilt and shame being at the bottom and love and peace, gratitude being at the top. So you can imagine how powerful you are, especially through his work. A
mm,
bit of a side quest, but I'm actually reading his book at the moment. It's really fascinating.
uh,
Those higher vibrational emotions actually, when tested using kinesiology, as strong, like the muscle is stronger, but when in a state or an emotional state, vibration of guilt or shame, the muscle is weaker when testing, which is
mm.
really fascinating.
Fascinating.
Yeah, but I think something that you talked about before is I think in the personal development space, it can be confusing around affirmations. A lot of people see it as woo. A lot of people have
Mm,
tried it and haven't had much success with it. I know that's been my journey as well, and it's kind of driven me deeper into work to understand what that route actually looks like.
mm,
Because if I feel dumb or stupid at a deep level and I just start chanting or affirming in the mirror, I'm smart, I'm clever, I'm intelligent, but my body doesn't believe it, then it's like you said, it's putting lipstick on a pig.
mm.
So, how maybe if you can give an example, perhaps, with the women that you serve, what often or most commonly is revealed as the root cause? If you cannot spot any specific trends, and how can you actually realize that or help a client realize that so that when you do start programming more uplifting, empowering beliefs, they actually stick?
Yeah. It's definitely, so whatever the thought is or the affirmation that you're already telling yourself, it's usually a negative affirmation. For my women, it's things like, I'm too fat, I'm not skinny enough, those kinds of things. When I say getting to the root cause, it's like, when was the first time that you ever had that thought? Where did that come from? And I'm probably going to tell you 90% of the time it is from their caregivers, the person that raised them, usually their mothers. So with body image, I feel like women are really targeted to the marketing, the campaigns and stuff that are out there around body image and around the way that you should look and all these things. So when I say getting to that root of it, okay, when's the first thought of it? And then actually taking that person, like I literally take my clients back to that moment. So that looks like a meditation of like in your mind's eye, and obviously I ask them, do you feel safe? Are you good? Sometimes they're not. Are you ready to actually overcome this? Sometimes they say they're not. I know in my processes as well, someone as a coach has said to me, are you ready to go back there? And I'm like, yes, yes. But my body was like, no, 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 no. So it's like, okay, it's not safe. Let's revisit another time. So making sure they feel safe enough to go back to that moment and literally taking them back as a visualization to that moment. Okay, what did it look like? Where were you? You know, were you at home? Were you at church sometimes? It's at church in front of other people. They were told, oh, you look so fat in that outfit. Oh my gosh, your legs are showing. They're so fat. Like whatever moment it is. And you go back to that moment and it's like you're reliving it, but you're changing the narrative around it. So it becomes a different story. So taking the woman back to it and they relive it and their body goes through all the motions, but instead of shutting off, because in those moments when you're getting told in front of a bunch of people that you love, hey, you look fat and ugly, you know, you can't process it in that moment. Sometimes you bottle it down, you're like, oh, whatever, and you think that it doesn't affect you and you go on with your day and you never revisit it again. But that thought has made you who you are today and showing up in baggy clothes or talking poorly about yourself. But it was like, that's what you had to do in that moment to keep yourself safe, right? So it's like revisiting that moment, unpacking it, we're processing it this time, and then we're rewriting the story. Okay, what is it that you now want to believe? Do you want to let that thought go? Sometimes people don't. They're like, no, it doesn't feel safe to let it go right now. But when it is, then cool. And it's like we're rewiring this thought, we're rewriting it. What's the new thought that you want to now believe? And most of the time, like when you go to that root cause, you're not going to be like, I'm skinny now and I love myself. It's just like moments. Sometimes it's just like, oh, I actually want to give love to the person who said that in the first place because obviously they were struggling, they were projecting, and maybe someone said that to them. So then they just passed it on to the next person. But it's like you just want to express love to them. What do you want to say to them now? I just want to give them love. I just want them to know that they are enough. They are beautiful as they are, that, you know, your weight doesn't determine your worthiness, you know, whatever it is. So we're giving love to the situation and rewriting that situation. So now when you look back on that, it's not so traumatic. It's not, you know, sometimes stepping into the other people's shoes as to why they would even say those things in the first place, thinking about where they came from. And then obviously whatever the new thought is. So I love myself. I can wear whatever I want to wear. I am confident in my body. I actually don't need to lose weight to love myself. So, whatever the thought is, getting that new thought. And then literally, you just brainwash yourself with that thought over and over again. Or whenever that old thought comes up, it's like, no, I'm choosing not to believe that. Actually, that's my old thought. This is what my new thought now is. Or that's usually I take the woman back to the age. Like that's 13-year-old Leesh's thought, but 32-year-old Leesh's thought is actually this new thought.
I think you've addressed it so well around helping reprogram
Mm,
a limiting belief by kind of going back in time to that root cause,
yeah.
that emotionally charged or traumatic event,
Yeah.
which started the cascade of not enoughness. But yeah, I think what you brought up just around having or seeing the situation through a new lens and realizing that whatever someone did or said, whatever unfolded, fundamentally I believe, was an expression of love. You know, maybe they
Mm,
didn't know how to express that uh in a nourishing, uplifting way, and it was sort of filtered through their own unprocessed trauma, I mean their own baggage. And when you have that awareness, you can forgive and you can have
mm.
compassion. I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah, I love that what you just said. I felt it through my body. You're like, that was them expressing love. Because if you go back to maybe your mom saying something about the clothes that you're wearing, she's actually trying to keep you safe because she's worried that you're going to go out there and someone's going to say something to you that's mean. So she's like, hey, like, here, actually, no, that doesn't look good on you. Please go get changed. Because she's actually, worried because that's what happened to her in the past. But she's doing that to you out of love. Obviously, it's come off the wrong way, but she's trying to protect you. Because it's happened to her in the past. So I love that. I've never really thought of it that way. So that's beautiful. Yeah. It's not from like, they're not purposely trying to be mean or trying to cause trauma. They're actually trying to help you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As you pointed out, yeah, there's just and especially with mums, obviously, they come hardwired with this maternal instinct and biology. And so
Mm,
there's this um, desire to protect
yeah.
and to nurture. And yeah, it can come across it in a way which unfortunately can create difficulty. But fundamentally, yeah, like you pointed out, it was just coming from that place of love. Leash, what do you feel women who might be struggling with not enoughness need to hear or would benefit from hearing? If you had a message for all the women in the world who, for whatever reason, feel like they're not skinny enough or not smart enough or they don't love themselves enough, like what's the take home message that you really want them to hear right now?
Yeah. It's that you're worthy as you are right now. You actually don't need to be anything. You don't need to do anything to be worthy. Like it's your birthright. You came out worthy, right? And I think it's easier said. People hear that and they're like, oh, some worthiness shit. Like, yeah, we know. Because it is kind of like, that you're worthy, right? Like, we wouldn't show up. And I say this with self love as well. Like, everyone loves themselves because if you didn't, you wouldn't show up every day. You wouldn't brush your teeth. You wouldn't get yourself changed. You wouldn't get yourself out of bed. You wouldn't go to work. You're already showing self love. It's just, at a, like basic kind of level, right? So you do actually love yourself and we do actually know that we're worthy. Otherwise we wouldn't do the things that we do every day. We wouldn't show up as we do every day. So yeah, we know that we are worthy, but like just turning it up a level that it's like, no, but like you can have the life of your dreams. Like actually it's not some freaking movie, that you watch at night or that you scroll online and you watch influencers living their life of their dreams, or maybe a friend who's killing it and you're like, yeah, but success is for her, it's not for me. It can be for you. It's a choice. You get to decide. So anything that you see out there, you can have that too if you really want it. And if you really believe in yourself and believe that you can have it.
That's awesome. I think, yeah, what stood out to me is that it is a choice. And I think even in my own journey, I remember with my first business, I really delayed putting myself out there for over 12 months because I was so petrified of how others might see me or how I might be treated differently and being vulnerable, lots of stuff to, to overcome, which I know you understand. And I didn't consciously choose that because I then came in with, yeah, but don't have enough experience or I don't look good enough or I don't
Mm,
have the certifications or the business degree or the clout or whatever, right? And it's like, yeah, you haven't actually chosen that, Dave. You haven't actually chosen that
mm,
if you're then inserting excuses. So I think that conscious choice is so important because when you do that and you allow yourself to choose it without any ifs, ands, or buts,
mm,
then, like you was talking before about the actor, you take actions in line with that new identity that you're choosing, right? Because I think
yeah,
the strongest force in the mind is to take action in accordance or in congruence with the identity or how you see yourself. So
yeah.
super, super powerful. I'm really glad that you shared that.
Yeah, I love that. It reminded me of this, and that's self-sabotage as well. Like this, when I, then I kind of thing. If you're like right now, and actually I thought the same way. I was like, there's someone actually called me out, a beautiful friend called me out and was like, Leesh, I think you're self-sabotaging. Like, what are you scared of? Are you scared of success? And I was like, no, like that's what I want. Like this is what, and I was telling her what I want. And she was like, I think you're self-sabotaging, because I was using language of when I get this thing, then I, for example, like when I get a sponsorship, then I can help so many women. When I, when more women pay, then I can help. Like, and it was like, you kind of dim your light, you kind of don't play as big as you normally would play and all these things. And it's like, stop waiting. Like, that's the self-sabotage right there, is that you're waiting for something else. And it's like, that's obviously you're trying to keep yourself safe and it feels uncomfortable to put yourself out there or whatever it is. But if you're using language like that, maybe you want to call yourself out. If you're saying, when I lose weight, then I'm going to love myself. When I get 100,000 followers, then I'm going to show up authentically online. When I make $100,000 in my business, then it's going to be an actual business and I'm actually going to be successful. When I get the Ferrari, when I get the man of my dreams or the woman of my dreams, then I'm going to be happy. Then I'm going to be successful, whatever it is. It's like, no, when I like do it now, like start now. And also something else that popped up when it comes to, when it comes to success, it's, what are you making success mean? Like a lot of people are like, when I get buy a house, then I'm gonna be successful. And it's like, said who? Like who told you that? Is that actually what you believe? And I think through my life, I was the same, like, oh, when I lose 30 kgs, then I'm gonna be pretty enough. And I was like, who told me that? Oh, actually it was magazines, it was people on TV. And actually, no, I don't want to believe that. So when you say like, oh, I just want to be successful, because a lot of us high achievers, you want to be successful, right? What does successful mean to you? Because it is subjective. You get to decide. It could be making $100,000 in your business, or it could be helping 50 women change their lives, helping one person change their life. Whatever it is, like, you get to decide what success means and what success is.
What does success mean to you?
Yeah, I love this question. Success to me, and I fully wholeheartedly believe I'm already successful, because success to me is being a good human being. This is going to make me cry. Being kind, showing love, wanting to help other people, showing up as your authentic self, being brave, going out there and going for the life of your dreams. Like, this is success, right? For me, it's like who I am as a person, and that I'm trying to be a better person, that I am a fucking great person. Actually, wholeheartedly, I believe that I'm a fucking great person. And I think that's success, because for so long I thought success was outside of me. It was when I weigh a certain amount, or when I look this certain way, or when I have, for a long time, it was like, I need to hit 6 figures in my business to be successful. And you do that, and then you're like, oh, it doesn't feel how I thought it was going to feel. Same with the weight loss. I got to 30 kgs lighter and I still hated what I saw in the mirror, and I still was speaking poorly about myself and all the things. So that's a freaking lie. All of that stuff is a lie. It's a lie. I mean, it's a lie that was sold to you. So yeah, success it's nothing external of me. It's everything internal of me. And I mean, I'd say I'm successful right now, but I also I feel like I could what's the word? I want to be better and do better and all the things. So there's also a new level, but I think everyone's fucking successful and they own, you get to decide. But I look at so many people in the world, I'm like, that's success. And they're trying to run and do this thing to be successful. And I'm like, baby, you are already successful. You are already a success. So yeah, just being a good person is success to me. And I think I'm a good person. So yeah, I'm successful. I want to ask you the same question if I could, please. What does success look like to you?
That's so beautiful, Leesh. Thank you. I really felt that. And I do agree with you. I think success is an inside job. I think success is the absence of chasing success when you
Mm,
realize it within, and realize it as you're progressing towards a worthy goal or vision. So,
mm,
success might mean the stay at home mum who's raising 3 kids because she's passionate about making as much time for them to nourish them. It could be the guy that works at a petrol station that is putting food on his plate and to send back home to his family abroad. It could be the high powered professional that quits their job filled with burnout and stress and anxiety to pour back into themselves and to focus on what matters more to them. It's devoting your time and energy and resources towards a worthy, fulfilling pursuit. It's not an end destination. So that's what success means to me.
nice.
Leesh, where can people find you?
They can find me online on, I love Instagram. I also love TikTok. So at the Polynesian Life Coach on both Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube as well. And I have a podcast as well, which is the Polynesian Life Coach.
Awesome. Yeah, please dive into Leisha's world because she has such a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. And if you haven't felt it already, so much loving kindness and compassion to share with the world. Leish, before we bring this in for a landing, in the theme of the podcast, what does it mean to be liberated for you?
I love this question so much. It relates so much. I recorded a video the other day and I was describing to a friend the feeling of, when you're so happy that your heart feels like it's exploding. Do you know that feeling?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I said this to 2 different people and they were like, "I don't know what that feeling is." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Please no. Like, you don't know what this feeling is." And no shame to that, but oh my gosh, you need to feel this feeling. And I did a video of like, "Oh my gosh, have you guys felt this feeling? Because am I the only one that feels this feeling?" I love that you felt this feeling as well. But that feeling is what liberated feels to me. Is the feeling of your heart like absolutely exploding, because in those moments is like the most precious moments like I can think of. Usually it happens when I'm with my family. So feeling so loved and adored by my family and just having this overwhelming when I'm coaching, when I'm doing kapahaka and singing my heart out and, tuning into my ancestors and really showing like my culture to people. It's all these moments that I love, all these, and that's what liberated feels to me is when my heart is exploding with love. Sometimes it's just when I sit with myself and I have a meditation and I talk to myself and, tell myself how incredible I am and proud of myself that I am and all the things. That's when my heart is really exploding. So that feeling, and I hope everyone gets to feel that feeling, that I feel like that's what liberated feels like.
Leish, I mean, just
Mm.
from this conversation as well, by your definition of liberated, definitely feels like that for me as well. So thank you so much for shining your light
Thank you
and
so
your
much.
story. And yeah, thank you for listening. Yeah, I'm talking to you. It's really a privilege to be in this conversation with you. And I'll see you in the next episode. Lots of love.